Why not? Okie dokie. Yeah. All right, good evening. Hi, Tina. Hello, Ivona. Thank you for visiting, dropping by. Just going to make some room over here. Thank you. I'll put that back in a minute. So, here we are again. I'll just do a little quick close-up. It's a very busy chart tonight. It's a complete mess. I'll try and, talk our way through it just gently, okay? It's nothing really good. It's nothing really bad. It's just another astrodoodle. But the beauty of the astrology, of course, is that, it's always sort of in and out of balance. It's sort of like a jellyfish. It's always like shifting and moving around. One minute it's absolutely gorgeous. The next minute it's quiet. The next minute it's very active. It's all part of the wonders of nature. It never stops. It's the beauty about the thing. And this, it's been going for 4.5 billion years. And we've still got about another 4 billion years to go if I studied my astronomy correctly. So, anyway, let me just check in and say hi officially. Greetings, good evening. Let me just see where the heck I am. There. Hello. I am in a sunny, beautiful summer landscape over in New Zealand here. It's a picture from one of the parks where I would go and visit. I didn't really get any allergies with all of that stuff. Hey, love driver. Good evening. This is not a real flamingo. It's just a, one of those iron statue things. I'm dealing with more sinus stuff and more allergy stuff, so we'll see how it goes. I'll probably be doing weird, things with my throat and voice and my ears and whatever. Hello, Fluffles. Good evening. Hope all is well with you guys. So, let me show you something here. Today, well, actually it was yesterday, I got my new calendar for 2024. I used to use a different calendar which had a very, very dense amount of astrological information. But this one has just enough for me to get by. It's from Llewellyn. They are probably the most well-known in this world. It's just staggering, beautiful artwork. It's, I don't know how to describe it. I can't do justice. I'll just show you the pictures for the year. Look, here's January. Can you see the goat? Can you see the character, the person? Let's have a look. Let's just flip through it. We're getting a preview of 2024. Here's Aquarius. There's the water bearer. There she is. There's all the water. Look at a beautiful swan, and there's the ponds and the lilies. Okie dokie. Over here is March, the Pisces season. The fish swimming in opposite directions. One this way and one that way. There's a mermaid. There's lots more fishies over here. Beautiful, just beautiful artwork. Staggering amount of work. And here's Aries, of course. Unmistakable. Look at that. It's like the ram. Can you see the ram with his big horns ready to charge and to fight in order to survive? Remember, Mars rules survival. Fighting to survive. May, here's the Taurus season. This is what they put on the front cover. Isn't that just beautiful? My gosh. Look at that. Okay, here we go. June is Gemini season. The energy of duality. Usually they show twins. I'm looking hard. There's a little tiny symbol there, right there. Can you see it? The Gemini symbol. And they have like twin symbolism here of two butterflies. I guess maybe they're saying, well, no, actually there's one of them over here. Oh, yeah, look at that. Okay, here's the Gemini twin. One of them is right here. Can you see her? And then over here is the other one. There we go. Mercury, commerce, trade, communication. July's Cancerian season, so we're going to see a crab here somewhere in the picture. There's the ocean and the depths of the ocean. And there is the beautiful crab swimming around. There's his claws. There's his eyes and his mouth. Okay. Leo season, here we go. Look at that, the sun. Just dazzling, beautiful. There she is, like a sun goddess. Look at that. Wow. And then we have Virgo season. She's probably collecting the harvest, collecting fruits. Yes, there she is, look. Beautiful, beautiful Virgo. Taking care of business, just doing what has to be done. Overseeing the harvest. Look at all the little birds in nature. It's just beautiful. Looks like she's in a vineyard, an orange orchard. An orange orchard for oranges. October, Libra. Fairness, balance, harmony for all. There's the scale. Can you see the scale? And the balance here. Here's one side. Here's the other. So it tilts, you know. Law is blind. Now, Scorpio season. Over here, the mysterious world of Scorpio. Hidden, powerful, sometimes terrifying, sometimes beautiful. I'm trying to actually see if they put an obvious image of a scorpion somewhere. But honestly, I can't really. Maybe you can see it, but I can't. I don't know. Maybe she's symbolizing a scorpion. I don't know. Maybe like there's a scorpion's tail or something. I don't know. There's a snake head here. Let's have a look. And Sagittarius is December. There's the Archer. Oh, look at that. Look at that. The Archer is riding on top of a mystical kind of cow, bull type creature over here. There's maybe it's like an elk. Yeah, it's probably a huge elk. And there's the warrior goddess over there, the Archer lady here. Look at that, fabulous. And that's that. That's 2024. So there you go. There's your forecast for 2024. And also today, I just want to share. Love Triber said I should talk about this a little bit. As you know, some of you might know, there's some amazing softwares out there. They tend to be expensive or very expensive. So you can do all sorts of wizardry magic at your fingertips with making the charts swirl around and doing all your trines and sextiles and squares and all your aspects and predictions and your personal charts and composites and synastry and transits and everything. I have to make do with what I can, and this is a good starting point. It's actually a book, and in case anyone's interested, it kind of gives you an overview here. Here's a little introduction. It's wonderful. They actually like squash it all down here into just a few spots. I think I left my tea out somewhere. Okay. All right, so they talk about the planets, okay? Planets, the first layer of building blocks. Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Pluto. So they describe the energy of the planets. Then they do the signs, the second building block. Every sign is built of three things: an element, a quality, and a polarity. Masculine, feminine, cardinal, fixed, or mutable, earth, air, fire, water, and so on. Descriptions and education. And then the houses, of course, you know we've talked about that many times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? These are the signs, all the way around there. These are the houses. And these little blobs here are the planets. So you stick it all together, and you take like 5,000-10,000 years of astrologers and astronomy, and you get this. They put it all, they condense it, they put their brains together, and they come up with predictions and analyses for the year. Aspects and transits. The aspects are the way that the planets relate to each other as they rotate around the solar system. Retrogrades, the moon influence, of course, very important. I take the moon very seriously. They have pages here just dedicated to the moon. Here's a calendar of all the new moons and full moons for the whole year. And here's a calendar for the eclipses. You might want to have a quick look at that. End of March, early April, mid-September, early October. There we go. We'll come into that as we go through the year. Now this, to me, is very interesting to see a little. Yeah, you might not see it very well from where you are, but I'll try and illustrate it anyway. Cheers, everybody. I'm having a bit of tea. So the planetary motions for 2024. Now, you know I talk about Pluto a lot. And there it is. There, you see? And there it is here on my Astrodoodle. So for the, you can see from here when I talk about the retrogrades and the direct. See the little squiggle here? This indicates the transit, the journey of Pluto for the whole of 2024. So it starts here, goes into Aquarius, goes back into Capricorn, and eventually into Aquarius for the rest of the next 20 years. So this little blob here will take 20 years to go across here. This is Saturn. You can see where it goes retrograde here. This is Neptune. Hold on. You can see where Neptune retrogrades. You can see where Jupiter retrogrades, because the motion is this way, okay, anti-clockwise. From our view of the solar system, everything goes that way. So when you see this little squiggle here, it indicates a retrograde. So for example, Jupiter retrograde would be going all the way here direct, and then, oops, looks like it's slowing down. Oh, now it's reversing, whoop, and then it starts to go forward again. Now, interestingly enough, Venus, where is it? Venus is direct all of 2024. There's no retrogrades for Venus. In here, can you see this one for Mercury? Regular as clockwork, 3 retrogrades every year. 1, 2, 3, and well, ends with 4th as well. Anyway, I like looking at those. Thought I'd share that with you. Then, planetary ingresses, retrograde planets, phenomenon, and they have weekly forecasts. Sometimes these can be fun, but they tend to be quite vague because the astrologers don't want to pick sides or anything. You know, I get quite, let's say, opinionated about these things. But just to give you an opener here, an overview of the 2024. Have a listen to this from Michelle Perrin. The entire introduction is devoted to it. It takes Pluto 248 years to orbit the Sun, meaning its transit of a single sign can take over a decade or 2. Therefore, in astrology, Pluto is used to define eras. We just lived through the Capricorn era. We're now heading into the Aquarius era. It's going to be about 20 years. So this is monumental, okay? It's absolutely monumental. It's the to come. So what I'm talking about, again, you see this little chart here? That's for today. This is for the whole of 2024, and this is for Pluto. This is where I will be focused for most of 2024. All right, anyway, excuse me. thank you for listening to my little, I don't know what you call it. It's not a rant. It was just, I'm just sharing some information. So, hello, Starcy. Hello, Fluffle, Love Triber, Tina, and Ivona. Greetings. So, not sure how things are going to go tonight. It's been a very up and down week. What I've noticed for myself, as I kind of predicted, it's the Sagittarius season tends to be a bit smoother and easier for me because I have certain planets and alignments that are very hyper stressed. So, but when the Sagittarius, Aries, Leo vibes come through, it releases some of the pressure because there's a lot of harmony that comes to me at these deep stress points. So, I know, it's different for everybody. Everybody's built differently. Some people might be really struggling. Maybe people who have really huge Virgo influences might be struggling with Sagittarius energy. Anyway, let me get on over here. I'd like to go to the stage again, if you don't mind. There we go. So, let me pull this out for December. Here we are in December. Oh, I forgot to tell you. You see this book? This is the 2023 book. Very helpful. Useful as a quick reference, if you just want to catch up on a few things, get some data. But right at the, this is the calendar. I don't really use this part much. I just get a little bit of blob there, but this is where I find it very, very useful to have this little book. So here we are. We are at the 3rd. Okay, if you can see this. Today is the 3rd. And any minute now, well, over the next week, Neptune is going to be flipped stationary to direct. So the Neptune energy is going to go direct. So what does that mean from the TL perspective? Well, okay. As you know, I tend to rant quite a lot. Hold on. When I deal with Neptune energy, I kind of end up dealing with the unhealthy expression. And why is that so? Why is it such a dominant theme? Well, number one, Neptune is in its own sign of Pisces, so that makes it very strong. Number two, Saturn is in Pisces right now, so that's putting a lot of extra pressure on the 12th house Pisces Neptune theme. Now, the thing about Neptune is that it's mysterious and things are not necessarily the way they seem. The beautiful aspect of it is, I would say, divinity. The connection to the divine, being able to enjoy psychic mediumship, being able to receive messages from heaven, being able to transmit the healing power of love through time and space, being able to receive love through time and space. It's real. It's very, very powerful. It's very, very real. The other thing about the Neptune energy, of course, it's ideal. The idealism is associated with it. So beautiful, fanciful dreams. It's often an energy that's associated with artists who tap into the divine to get their divine inspiration. If you look at what's his name? Einstein. I can't remember. What's his first name again? Einstein. Anyway, Einstein had a very strong Piscean nature. And he admitted that he was kind of a scientist, but we didn't think of himself as anything special. And what he actually confided is that he relies on divine inspiration. He would go into these meditative states. He would go out and sit on a lake or be somewhere beautiful and serene and surround himself with nature. And then he would literally tune into heaven and ask his angels, ask God, ask the divine energy that's out there to please send him inspiration, information, images, anything that would help him understand the problems that he's trying to solve. And like for myself, I hear things, I see things. Sometimes I get clairsmelliance, but whatever. And he recalls having he was out on a lake one day. I think he was, where was he, in Paris or Berlin or something, at one of his laboratories or whatever, and went out for a break. And then he had a vision. He had a vision. E equals MC squared. That was his vision. And he, what's that? E equals MC squared. And he thought, like, oh, this is too simple. It can't possibly be. E equals MC squared. Energy equals mass times acceleration squared. Okay, I'm not a scientist. I can't explain it all, but it was a monumental evolutionary step in physics for the whole world. And of course he was trying to calculate things, but he really couldn't find the answer. The way he actually got the answer was through divine intervention. So that's the beautiful side of Neptune energy. But it's very hard to access because it requires complete, utter surrender to the unknown. And a lot of times humans don't like that because it's frightening. They don't like to feel out of control. And so what happens is, like, it devolves to the unhealthy aspect. When people feel that they're out of control, they want to, let's say, artificially impose control. Sometimes they will drug themselves to numb the pain. They'll take, SSNRIs. They'll take their Cymbaltas, their Zoloft. They'll take opium, fentanyl, Xanax, their cannabis, and all of that stuff, just to help them kind of go, at least I can manage my energy flows in life, for some people it's eating. Oh, I feel so happy, I gotta eat. Oh my God, I feel so depressed, I better eat something. Oh, I'm so confused, I better eat something. I feel so lost, I better eat something. It's the end of the world, I better eat something. And so on and so on. There's many ramifications of unhealthy Neptune. But because it's very, very strong in the charts right now, where's the analogy in human experience? Well, it is the world of lies, betrayal, deception, theft, bribery, corruption, coercion, evil. Evil is the absence of love. Sometimes it's the willful absence of love. There are people who are called psychopaths, sociopaths, who deliberately choose to vacate the heart center. They deliberately choose to not oblige, and instead they seek satisfaction not through love, not through divinity, not through empathy, caring, sharing. They seek it through power and money and control. It all happens from here upwards, from the neck upwards. And they try to impose that on the rest of us because they believe that they are, I would say, superior. Anyway, in China, for example, they have a very, very serious problem with the Saturn and Neptune transits right now. It's going through their second house. And as I've been ranting for a long time, China is imploding. As of today, or was it yesterday, they just did the biggest World's Fair you could possibly imagine for global logistics. They're trying to impress the global community and invite the whole global community to come here, organize all your shipping, your transportation, all your logistics, everything that you need to coordinate in the world. A huge, huge exhibition, staggering, very, very impressive, and there's nobody there. It's a problem. So try as they might, the country is imploding. The Saturn-Neptune aspects are very, very harsh on China, and it's going to get worse. Over in the United States, the Saturn-Neptune energy is very obvious in the world of politics, where you've got these very dirty, ugly, aggressive, theatrical games going on between the warring parties, you know, the lefties and the liberals and the commies versus the right wings and the conservatives and the Republicans and all of that. And they're hard at it right now, hard at it, because what's happened is become extremely obvious on the world stage that the United States has been tragically corrupt for decades, and it's reached a zenith, a maximum of corruption, where we're looking at the worst crime in American history. Treachery, blackmail, deception, what are the other words that they use in Washington? What's the one? There's one that I really like. It's not insurrection. That's the other one. No, it's the one where it's the ultimate betrayal of the United States, which is very obvious from certain political leaders. There's one in particular, and he's being called out because there's such huge amounts of hard evidence. The evidence is being shrouded and buried in secrecy, 12th house, because it is the hidden enemy. The hidden enemy is right there in the White House. They're right there. And all the three-letter agencies that are supporting the current agenda. And it's all coming apart. It's all coming unglued, live, real time. Even the hardcore left-wing media is struggling to cover up the stench of the fraud, decay, and deception that's been going on. But they're going to do whatever they can to subvert truth, facts, reality, and the freedom of speech. That's what they're doing. Because freedom is the enemy of tyranny. Lies, deception, betrayal, manipulation, murder, blackmail, all of that are the mechanisms and tools for the tyrants in order to control we the people. They hate other people. As far as they're concerned, we're here to be exploited, farmed. We are expendable, disposables, and it's just we're there for their profit. Hello, Russian thoughtbot. Thoughtbot. Anyway, so that's happening right now. Let me go to the charts. Hold on. I got to get over there. All right, so I tried to make it pretty, but it's a very, very cluttered chart. And it's been happening for a few days now. We've got a lot of trines. We've got a lot of sextiles. And there's more. And there's this one here too. And so when you combine all these trines and sextiles, it's kind of like having a really powerful buffer shock absorber to soak up all the stress that's been happening recently. But this is not going to last. When we get into Capricorn season, for real, we're in Sagittarius season right now. Still fairly early. But when we get into Capricorn season, things are going to get pretty bumpy. And then when we get into Aquarius season, that's next year, everything is going to flare up. It's going to be like the first salvo of revolutionary energy that's going to ricochet across the whole of planet Earth. Everywhere is going to light up. And a lot of it is going to be to do with violence and war. So all the military hotspots right now, like over here in the Middle East, over here in Eastern Europe, all over the Sahel in Africa, all of that is like tinderbox, tinder energy, and it's setting off brush fires all over the place, and that's setting off bigger fires all over the place. Right now, the war over here is now expanding all over here. There's American warships here, here, and here, trying to do what they can to stifle the exploding violence. There's a lot of military U.S. buildup over here to try and stifle the buildup of the CCP. There's a huge amount, astronomical amounts of buildup of military hardware and personnel all over the Russian loose borderline over here to try and contend with the big bear Russia. Because Russia wants to expand here, China wants to expand here, and the Middle East wants to eliminate America completely. It's getting very, very strange. And everyone is jostling for power and revolution. They're trying to... a lot of these places that I mentioned, here, 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 and now here, 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 a little bit here. These are run by tyrannical dictatorships, communist dictatorships. They worship death and violence over here. They worship it over here, here. And crime, violence, murder, it's part of that's what they do. That's how they run things. It's just like thugs and gangs. They use violence, coercion, blackmail, murder to get done what has to be done. That's how they take care of business. And we've done our share of dirty things, I'm sure. But when I look at the global landscape right now, I'm trying to think, what happens if things get really ugly over here in America? Because we're the last people to feel it. Where do you run? Where do you hide? So, the way I feel it is, and I follow global news headlines every day, the ugly stuff, the good stuff, from the left and from the right, to try and just get an overall feel. And from what I am sensing is that we're just seeing a massive splintering shift, polarizing into two very simple camps: tyranny versus freedom. And that's it. The tyrants are trying to destroy freedom. The people who want and believe in freedom are trying to protect and defend themselves from the tyrants. Effectively, that turns into war. So that's where we are. That's where we're heading. When we're at the cusp of war, we're building up for it now. But over the next 20 years, there's going to be major global war, including when Uranus gets into Gemini a couple of years later down the road, 2025 and so on. So really, you guys ought to be preparing right now. We've got a couple of nasty red. There's a big nasty red T-square here. It's very parallel with the big, huge monster T-square on the global nodal axis, but nobody talks about it. I don't know why they don't. I think it's incredibly important. It's the polarity between redundant, sick, perverted, unhealthy relationships. In other words, humans versus humans, people versus people, and trying to reclaim our sovereign selves, where each individual makes a decision to be their true self, as opposed to some kind of puppet or some kind of blob that has been influenced by an exterior relationship dynamic. It's very difficult to do because human people are by nature highly sociable. We need each other in order to survive. It's actually very, very difficult to survive as a single individual out in the middle of nowhere. So when I see all this green ink, trines, sextiles, it's like a very calm shock absorber that's making things smooth. And so I see it in the news. A lot of the huge, terrifying headlines that we had during the Taurus-Scorpio point over here have kind of faded away. That's just now being normalized. All this scary war stuff is now normalized. Everybody is talking about it. Well, I guess we're into World War III. This must be it. Must be beginning. Well, yeah, it pretty much is. And now that it's normalized, we can talk about it openly. It's all over the internet, wherever you look. There's sabotage all over America. These are the early stages of warfare. Huge amounts of internal sabotage all over the United States for, cyber stuff, logistics, infrastructure, railway trains, airports, automobiles, transportation, communications, all of that. Sabotage all over here. Farms, farming, cattle, beef, fuel, oil, gas, everything. It's all under attack by sleeper cells that are starting to wake up inside the United States now. And it doesn't help that we have this border that's wide open with millions of criminals coming across. And of course, it's planned. It's all planned out. We've talked about this many times. There's those people, they, who have decided that they're going to take over the world and run it as a complete singular entity. One world government, new world order, United Nations, World Health Organization, World Economic Forum. Did I say that one? Anyway, what they want is essentially globalized Marxism, globalized communism based on the CCP model. I mean, it's insanity. It's absolute insanity. If they actually think they're going to get away with it, they're completely deluded. What's happening is that there is pushback. There are people all over the world who are starting to realize something very, very sick is happening over here. That's this. Something very, very sick. And it's triggering the energy of revolution and change for we the people who are sick of the tyrants over here. Mars is very, very happy here in Sagittarius, close to the sun. Very happy. So warlike energy is expanding. We've had some very exciting, interesting news where Javier Milei just got elected for Argentina, and Geert Wilders got just elected for Netherlands and Dutch places. So that's a huge shift to freedom. Freedom of speech, the rights to protect and defend yourself. Of course, that's the enemy of the tyrants. But anyway, it's happening, and it's global headlines. But, the big mainstream, they don't like to talk about it. Because the mainstream media, they want to be part of the global elite, one world order. It's mind-boggling. 50 F-35s now live over here. These are the big killer jets. And Finland has just shut the border to Russia. Estonia and Latvia are closing it all up. Poland, closing Romania, all of that. So Russia, I don't know, I could talk about it for hours. So in a few moments, actually, you see this particular red line right now? The moon is going to edge into Virgo tonight, or tomorrow morning, depending on where you are. So we're going to have, for just a few hours, or a day or so, a very extreme tight polarity between the moon and Saturn. So we might see some serious headlines about global health issues. Perhaps the mysterious illness, the mysterious lung disease. Wonder where that came from. Anyway, let's get on with the show. All right, Tina, come on, you're up. So, hello, Necessary. I'm just going to give some pointers here for a little while. I've got it in front of me. We got the Sagittarius new moon in about 10 days. Mercury's going to flip retrograde at exactly the same time. Neptune's going to be turning direct in a couple of days. That's a big deal. All the fraud, deception, betrayal, lies, and everything that's happening in the United States government is going to be on full display, and it's going to be called out. Saturn in Pisces is going to put a choke chain around all the Washington criminals. That's enough for now. Let's leave that. Let me tidy up here. Give me a second, folks. Chat amongst yourselves while I prepare for Tina's reading. Alrighty. Tina's going to get a general reading. Thank you, Tina. Wow. Now, cards are well shuffled in advance. Let's bless this deck, bless every single card. The Rider-Waite team who drafted all the language. Pamela Coleman Smith, the original artist. Let's invite our invisible friends to hang out with us and stay very, very close. Let's make sure I'm sure Tina's got her invisible friends all over, plus her big furry friends. You know what, just before I do the reading, Tina, I was just going to mention something. As you know, I've had more deletions and not strikes. I didn't have any strikes, but I got deletions and demonetizations and videos being stripped out of the channel because of community guidelines. Apparently, I talk BS, and YT, Mr. U, the tube, doesn't like it. And I think it's really sad and pathetic because I'm lucky to get 50 people to ever watch a video when I used to get thousands. And so it makes you wonder, why do they keep picking on tiny, tiny channels like mine? Why? Why are they so frightened of people like me? And it's so pathetic. It feels to me it's so pathetic. I'm stunned. You know, these are people who run these places. They are extremely wealthy. They're extremely powerful. And they live in total fear of people like me. I mean, how pathetic is that? Truly. Tina, so my Neptune conjunct Sun in the 12th house is activated. Well, Neptune in the 12th house. I guess I'd have to see a chart. We all have Neptune somewhere in our charts. And depending on how it expresses itself, for example, Tina is talking about Neptune conjunct Sun, 12th house is activated. So that can be very powerful, okay? Well, when it comes to, as we know, most of you know that Tina is a professional carer. She's a high-powered nurse who's kind of going through huge life changes, a long career in the emergency rooms, intensive care, taking care of people who are close to the end of their life, and so on. And someone's got to do it. It takes incredible power to do that. So having the Sun conjunct Neptune, it's like having a tremendous amount of light and power. If you think of the Sun as the ultimate source of power, and then it activates and lights up Neptune. So when everything's working properly, it bestows tremendous healing power. The healing power of love. There you go. Tina could not do what she does without the healing power of love moving through her, willingly and deliberately. In other words, she deliberately put herself in a situation of dealing with the maximum amount of pain and physical stress that happens in a person's life. That's what goes on in the emergency rooms, intensive care units. And Tina was there to take care of those folks. Not a lot of people rush in to do that. Most people run away from situations like that. So it takes tremendous power, courage to do it, to choose that as a lifetime. All right, here we go, Tina. Cards are well shuffled. We're in a good spot. Oh, hold on. What's that? Thank you for mentioning that, Necessary. I'm always getting flagged. They're always sending me strikes, warnings, deletions, demonetizations. My channel is basically demonetized now. There's nothing, this is mostly just a hobby now. All right, here we go. Let's have a look. What's the situation? What kind of story, what kind of messages do we have here for Tina tonight? Let's ask for pristine clarity. All right, here's situation, here's challenges, and here's how we're going to handle things. Now, some of you know we've been working together for a long time, gone through all sorts of different life chapters, so there's a bit of shared common knowledge, but I like to go completely blind as much as possible, as if I've never met her before. Let's have a look. External influences, I almost always dedicate to the planets of the moment. So let's have a look, and let's see what the interpretation is. So we've got the Nine of Cups. I'm actually very happy to see this for you, Tina. To me, it looks like, whether you like it or know it or not, you might be in a kind of a sweet spot, a safety zone, where you might not have expected or planned it or anything like that, but it's like living through a journey where if you've been on a long road trip in a car, and you know how your brain can go through these amazing, like, spiritual mental journeys when you're on a road trip especially if you're driving on your own. You know, you have a cup of coffee here, you take a road break there, you go out for a walk, you take a pee break later on, and it goes on, and you listen to music or whatever. Sometimes when you switch all that stuff off and you just listen to your own thoughts, it can be a transcendental experience. What I'm sensing here with the Nine of Cups is that there's a little portal that's available to you where you can get a transcendental awakening of like an actual real life physiological experience of happiness. I'm not saying it's overwhelming. To me it feels like with the reading here, give me a second, I'm going to have to go over here. Here, it's like, so what I'm trying to get at here, Tina, is that perhaps it's all the sextiles and the trines that are out there and multiples on top of each other, harmony and opportunity all on top of each other simultaneously, almost overwhelming all the difficult stuff with all the challenging aspects on Pisces and the big fat T-squares and so on. And my alluding to like a road trip, you can be driving along, you know, I'm going to pass that person, I got to stay behind that truck for a while. And then you're looking around at the scenery a little bit, checking the mirrors, everything, and you kind of go, you can go through this moment of bliss. It's just like, wow, I am in a state of complete bliss. You're not laughing your head off. You're not stoned out of your mind. You didn't just inherit $1 billion or anything like that. It's just a serene, sublime state of pure happiness and bliss. And it might be just a fleeting moment, but it is there. And I believe it's out there for you. And what I'm sensing with the card is that it's so subtle that you might not even be aware it's happening. So that's why I'm mentioning it in the reading. You might want to be aware that the energy of bliss and serene, indestructible happiness is like right there for you. It's like getting a glimpse. It's almost like getting a glimpse of heaven. It's just like, wow, I'm okay. Everything's okay. Everything's exactly as it should be. All the shitty, crappy stuff I've lived through, all the horrible things I might still be dealing with, that's just life. But it is an amazing experience. And you know you have more chapters ahead of you. Adventures, unknown. You've already started. And some of it is just on the frequency of bliss. Serene, pure happiness, just for you. You don't have to share it with anyone. And it's something that you would own and keep inside you. And it's sometimes good to recognize it. Some people aren't aware that it's out there. I think my reading at the moment is just trying to illustrate that it's actually out there. It's actually real. And it's okay to feel bliss. It's okay to feel happy. You don't have to feel guilty. You don't have to question yourself. What did I actually feel happy for a minute just then? Unquestionable, undeniable, unconditional happiness? Oh, wow. That actually felt pretty good. Huh. So that's what I'm sensing is out there for you, surrounding you right now. All right, let's have a look at the situation itself. All right, let's have a look. Situation. Oh, the King of Wands. Now, this is very strong male, masculine energy. I'm a little bit hesitant to suggest that there might be a very strong, masculine, positive, supportive influence out there in your life, in your world right now. But if there is, fine. That would be very nice. But what I'm really sensing deep down is that this is more about you tapping into your, what do they call it? Oh, there's an expression, you know, when men tap into their femininity and when women tap into their masculine selves, the strength and the power, in order to be strong, in order to survive. Think of this as like Mars energy, but it's very strong, very gracious, very proud, very inspiring energy. And you might be looking in the mirror and seeing a little bit of this in yourself and realizing, like, it's not like you're looking in the mirror and saying, like, wow, I'm really butch. I'm really macho. Whoa. No, it's more like recognizing in the mirror, like, man, I do have some qualities of which I really should acknowledge. I should really be proud of that. I mean, for example, Tina, how many other people do you know who've lived through what you've lived through in the last couple of years? And you're coming out of it, no matter the struggles and the ups and downs, you're coming out of it with a brand new, like, lifestyle package deal. It's like everything's starting from scratch again. And that takes tremendous courage. Enormous courage and strength and conviction to just like, I'm going to frickin' do it. I'm just going to do it. No one told you to do it. You're doing it. And it's you expressing your ultimate, let's say, unapologetic, masculine side of yourself to just like, you know what, I'm just going to do it. You know, a lot of times people feel feminine energy is very cloistered and serene and like submissive, and no, it doesn't have to be. There are some amazing women out there who are fierce, absolutely fierce. I have great admiration for women who have a very strong masculine part to their nature, where they can openly and bravely deal with the world as if they were a guy. No apologies. I think it's awesome. I've always been in awe of that energy. So if you've got that and you're handling life, that's fantastic. That's what I'm seeing as the situation. It's just like, oh, okay, well, you're dealing with life and you're actually doing okay. Actually something to be proud of. Okay. Again, I'm sensing there is some kind of strong male influence. I don't quite know what that is. You probably will. You can analyze that yourself, okay? In the background, if there is some strong, wholesome, trustworthy, reliable, capable male influence nearby or around you in your life, in your world, it might be appropriate to acknowledge that. And just kind of go, oh yeah, maybe I know who you're talking about. I have no idea, but I just thought I'd mention it. Let's have a look. So what are the challenges here? Okay, with the 10 of Wands, the challenge is that you've been like this for a very long time. You've been carrying so much weight, so much courage, so much burden in order to keep the show rolling, that my feeling is that it's trapped. You know how fear and energy gets trapped in the physical body and you can't let go? And you might be feeling deep down that, God, everything could collapse if I make one mistake. So in other words, I have to keep the pressure on. I don't know if I can. I have to keep the pressure on. I hate doing this. I hate constantly having to put so much pressure on myself, not knowing if I'm ever actually going to make it. Okay, but that's fear, remember, because you have a long history of some very challenging situations. And some of it you willingly dived into, like when you became a professional ICU, ER person. And the journey is still underway. You've had those big life changes very recently, so it's still very early days in that progress, okay? So with the 10 of Wands, it might be a feeling like, yeah, I can endure, I can carry, I'm used to carrying tremendous stress. No one else can carry it for me. But there's a little bit of a fear here, like, my God, can I keep doing this? Am I going to be trapped into this forever? I wish I didn't have to, because, okay, I'm just going to say this. This is not meant to hurt, okay? What I'm saying is, people can fall in love with their problems. You can be so engrossed and so immersed and so, let's say, conditioned by your stress, your problems, your challenges over the last few years, that it's kind of ingrained in your whole behavior to the point where it becomes your identity. You know? Like terrorists, for example, over in the Middle East or wherever they are, they are so immersed in anger, rage, that they don't know anything else. If you took away that anger and the rage, they would be lost. They would have no sense of meaning in their life. They would be terrified. They would want you to give me back my anger, my rage, even if I end up, dead at the end of it. Like being like a suicide bomber. It's crazy stuff like that. So with the Ten of Wands, makes me feel like you've been enduring so much for so long, and it has like imprinted itself on you like a form of identity. And when you see a glimpse of bliss, see a glimpse of happiness, and a possible like this new lifestyle package deal unfolding around you, that could be very scary. That could be a threat to the imprint. That could be a threat to the identity that you've known so long. Like, I don't want to... It's just like if someone actually could surgically remove all your problems, and all you had to do is live your life and experience a little bit of bliss and start your new lifestyle package deal, you would go like, no, don't take that away. Don't do that. Because people... It can be so severe that you can be married to your problems. And that can be a problem, because it's very hard to undo that sometimes. And that's what I'm seeing here with the Ten of Wands. It doesn't have to own you, but you need to be aware that it's very easy to be owned, to allow yourself to be owned by your problems and stress to the point where it becomes your identity. Okay, so let's see, how are we going to deal with that? Oh, look at all these wands. Alright, so with the Four of Wands here, it looks like it is a time for releasing. It's a time for you to celebrate, Tina, and to look at the bright side, understand that this has been going on for a long time, and you're still feeling it, but it's actually dwindling, okay? And this is what really counts. It seems to me that through the amazing chicanes of life that you've endured, you've ended up in a position where it's just like, I actually felt a moment of bliss. Oh my God. And who's responsible for that? Oh, me. Huh. How cool is that? Wow. Oh, I'm in my power. It's like the energy of Mars in Aries or something like that. Or Mars in Sagittarius. Whoa, whoa. So instead of saying like, oh God, I'm sick of my problems, but that's me. I am just a pile of problems. That's the only thing I know. No, you can turn it around. You can actually say, enough of that. Screw that stuff. Take the same energy that is being recycled into the world of problems and stress and flip it around. Celebrate something. It's time to celebrate something. Maybe if you've got a couple of friends or something in the new neighborhood, the new life that you're starting to create, start to build an alliance with some of the new energy, the new types of people where you feel good. Where you feel good with them and they feel good with you. And make it your mission to celebrate that in a formal manner. In other words, let's acknowledge. In other words, whoever it might be, makes me feel like it's a person or perhaps some people. But it's about embracing the goodness and celebrating. It isn't just about taking it for granted. It's about openly acknowledging like, wow, I, Tina Miller, have come an awfully long way, and I'm now starting a new lifestyle package deal, and no one else could have done it for me, and I've actually, if I'm honest, I am sensing a little bit of bliss. And let's stay positive. Let's stay positive. Instead of taking all of that good stuff for granted, I'm not saying you are doing that, but it's very easy to do that and just keep going, thinking like, well, any minute now it's all going to fall apart. It always falls apart any minute now. Forget that. Instead, go forward, like embrace the new relationships, embrace the new lifestyle package deal, and do something about it. Invite somebody over to your new place. Invite somebody over. Invite some people over. Invite, I don't know who, to where, when, or how, but it's almost like maybe create a virtual or online three-dimensional housewarming party or something like that. In case people aren't aware, everybody, Tina, I'm not going to share too much, but basically Tina has completely recalibrated her whole life in the very recent past. It's all starting again, new career pathways, new living conditions and everything. It's really quite amazing. A housewarming party. There you go. It doesn't have to be beautiful or anything. It can be raw and just open the door. Have a few people over. Infuse your new life with fun, and almost to the point, let's make it a party. Let's formalize the fun, because that's what happens at parties and celebrations, you know. Okay, look at that. There you are. There's your new castle. Oh, where is it? There, see? Also, it's Christmas coming up. Holiday season, as they say. You're not allowed to say Christmas anymore. Holiday season. Maybe maybe it'd be an idea to have like a little garland somewhere over the house, and maybe invite a few people over. Even if you have to bring picnic benches or picnic tables or something, and just crack open a bottle of champagne or a bottle of wine or some beer or tea or whatever you like, and enjoy. It's like a christening. It's almost like a christening. Housewarming. That's what I'm sensing. All right, Tina, I hope you got something out of that. I'm going to shuffle it up here. All right. So that was fun. It's really nice to have a reading that has a sort of sweet, jolly tone now and again. Yeah. What's that? Necessary truth. Great reading, Tina. TL would drop a PayPal. Reading for Russian. Russian is still there? Oh. Oh. TL reading for Russian. Reading for Russian thought. Will be on your PayPal. Okay. All right. That happens now and again. That's fun. Thank you, Necessary. Dear Russian Thoughtbot, I hope you're ready for this. I think you just disclosed that you are a Gemini Sun, in which case you're going through the opposition season right now. It's Sagittarius season, so that's the maximum polarity. Whoa, sun versus sun, sun opposite sun. Let's have a look. Luckily, we shuffled the cards, so we can dive right in. Let me just... wow, that's exciting. It happens every now and again when we get one of those pay it forward type of readings. After that, I think that's what we'll do for tonight. That'll be it. So no more readings after Russian Thoughtbot. That'll be it. But let's move on over here and let's get that all set up for you. Wow. Oh, that's a surprise. Thank you so much. I've always wanted to do a reading for a Russian Thoughtbot. Wow. Let's have a look. Wow, how exciting. All right, well, brace yourself, Russian Thoughtbot. Who knows what's going to happen, if you don't mind, especially with a first-time reading like this. Give me 2 minutes, TL. I need to log in. Russian Thoughtbot just went through a Gemini full moon. Be right back. Oh, okay. Okay. No problem. Actually, you know what? I need a pee break. How about that? So, everybody, let's take a break. Let's have a look here. I gotta have my pee break music. Yeah, let's have a look. Wow, I'm back. Wow. I went as fast as I could. Whew. Thank you for your patience. Wow. Russian Thoughtbot. Okay, hold on, let's have a look. Just reading some notes here on the screen. That's awesome. I'm about to have to count down my register and close out my shift, but I'll be here. Okay, the other thing, dear Russian Thoughtbot, is that this is recorded and it will eventually end up on the TarotLumination channel under the section for live readings and live videos. Because sometimes I do shorts, occasionally I record and then post, but mostly I do live streams. So you actually have to select that in case you want to go back and rewind and watch your reading again and again. Yeah, you can listen in the background. If you got to take care of business, you'll get your reading anyway, no matter what. All right, so now 2 minutes. Necessary Truth wants 2 minutes. Let me just shuffle for a little bit more. And hey, dear Necessary Truth, when you get back, can you type it on the screen so I can see it here that you're back, so we can actually move on? It sounds like you want to actually be present for the reading. That would be cool, of course, seeing as you're paying for it and so on. That makes sense to me. My gosh, the cards are jumpy tonight. Well, of course, it's not the cards, it's me shuffling, but anyway. All right, here we go. All right, okay, so I'm just going to stay here. I'm just going to hang out here. I'm going to hang out with everybody. All right, so we're waiting for Necessary Truth to head back. She needs to log in. Russian went through. Okay, went through a Gemini full moon. Let me check what's going on over here. I'm gonna go have a look at this thing. Give me a second. 20 minutes and I'll be free. Oh, well, I think I should go ahead and do the reading anyway, if you don't mind. So, okay, so we had the Gemini moon. That was back on the 28th of November. That was the full moon. That was the Sagittarius sun and the Gemini moon. Okay, that's right here. Can you see my writing? Thank you for pointing that out, Necessary. Full moon. That's the Sagittarius sun being opposed by the Gemini moon. So apparently, Russian Thoughtbot is a Gemini sun, so and a female, and she would have encountered the full opposition of the Sagittarius sun. So that can sometimes be the toughest time of the year for people. Astrologically, it depends on, I don't know, everybody. Some people don't care, some people don't notice. But every year, you get like, some people call it a solar return, like basically it's your birthday, and you start the whole cycle again for 1 year. And then halfway through, like if you're born a Gemini, 6 months later, we're in the Sagittarius season. So that eventually means that the sun is in the sign of Sagittarius for that transit, okay? Russian, you're male. Oh, okay. All right. So, or did I think you were female? Anyway. Excuse me. Oh, my nose, my sinuses, man. Anyway, I'm doing pretty well. Okay. So, yeah, the full moon was only a few days ago. And let me just go to the chart again. Let me show you on the chart here. I kept a lot of my astrodoodles. So back at that time, like right now, the moon is over here, just crossing into Virgo. And the Gemini full moon was back over here. Very early degrees, okay? The moon was here. The sun was here, okay? So that's a full opposition. So anybody who has a very powerful or strong Gemini energy or a Gemini sun would have been at the period of maximum opposition. So depending on how healthy you are and so on, mentally, physically, spiritually, if you're struggling, it can be one of the worst times to deal with because you're experiencing maximum opposition of power. Sun opposite sun. The transiting sun opposing your natal sun. That's typical. That's tricky. Anyway, let's put that aside. Thank you for the information. I think we're pretty much necessary's back, so let's get on with the reading here. Hold on, okay. Yeah, I gotta keep going. I don't have any other readings lined up, and I don't really want to do any more readings, okay, if you don't mind. So I'm gonna get on with your reading, and for sure you will catch it anyway. Oh, necessary is pointing out sometimes, like, a lot of people like a blind reading. They just want, what do you got for me? You know, what kind of messages do you have for Russian Thoughtbot tonight, TL, regarding whatever? Sometimes they say, regarding the subject of ... Could be anything. Some people, it's like love, romance, marriage, finance, career, health, relationships, children, travel, home, and location, or whatever it might be. Typically one word. Okay? Thank you, Necessary. That's good. Thank you for pointing that out. If you want me to just go blind and do something general, I'm fine with that. So if you're still listening and watching Thoughtbot, and you want to insert a word there, in other words, what kind of messages do you have for me tonight, TL, regarding the subject of ... One word. Okay? Otherwise, I'll just go ahead and do a complete blind reading. So I'm going to shuffle and start getting ready, and I'll keep an eye on the chat, see what happens. All right, let's have a look here. Cards are nicely shuffled, a bit bouncy and jumpy. That's okay. I don't do reversals. I'm not doing any jumpers, flyers. I'm not doing any oracles right now or anything. So we're just going to have the most elementary thing. Dear Russian Thoughtbot, this is my situational spread. It's essentially like a diagnostic tool. It's very simple, very, very neutral, but it kind of goes in like a laser beam. And it's just kind of like opening the hood of a car, opening the lid to a computer, and so on. Find out what's going on. Because a lot of the reason people get, tarot readings is because they want to know what's going on in their life, in their world, that they can't get directly from their doctor, their spouse, their kid, their pets, their friends, their therapists or whatever. So they end up somewhere like this, getting a tarot reading from an astrologer. What do you know? I think Russian Thoughtbot is closing out the shift, like you said. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going, all right? Here we go. Cards are beautifully shuffled now. This is a situational spread. Basically, it's what's going on. I got life deal too. Here we go. All right. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. And we're going to look at external influences here. I pretty much always default to the planets, but you never know, in case I get another message from my invisible friends. Let's have a look. So we've got the Hierophant. Okay, to me this is a really powerful signal that you are at a, let's say, a significant chapter in your life where, whether you like it or know it or not, you might be either, I don't know, dealing with a very significant relationship which is on the verge of formalization. Sometimes this card is associated with marriage, formalized marriage, not the things like, oh, let's live together. You want to shack up at my place, or something like that. It could also associate. I mean, the reason I'm mentioning relationships because of the polarization, the Sagittarius Gemini thing. Okay, so the relationship dynamic is very prominent because we're dealing with the polarities, Sagittarius versus Gemini. I'm just dealing with Sun, okay? So the Hierophant can also indicate that you might be going through some really important life chapter right now where you're no longer allowed to drift. You're not allowed to sort of meander through life or try to get through or try to get by. It might feel like fate or the universe or the heavens or your invisible guides are like forcing you in a direction where you're going to have to formalize some aspects of your life and create a like a business operating, what do they call it? A STOP, S-T-O-P, standard operating procedures. A code for life. Some people use the Bible. Some people use the Quran. Some people create their own, like a mission statement, okay? Where they declare to themselves, you know what? I'm sick of this, and this. I'm sick of that, and that. So what I'm going to do is redraft, reprogram, reprioritize my life. I'm going to create a new, like a mission statement. I will list 10 items that are mission critical now in my life going forward. And that might be happening to you against your will, or you might be deliberately choosing to go in that direction. Some people would not like this. If they feel that they're being forced to adopt a certain code of behavior that they don't want to do because they're frightened of their freedom being taken away, that's understandable. But the healthy expression is about the formalization and clarifying, the clarity of life. It's like literally writing out what they do, like a business state, like a business plan, where you can itemize. Hi, I am Russian Thoughtbot. I have this talent and this gift and these resources. And I have these intentions, these ambitions. My goal is to do this, and this, followed by that, and that. I intend to proceed with honesty, integrity, patience, compassion, commitment, truth, and love. And you formalize it all, okay? Let's have a look. What's the situation itself? Okay, so we might be dealing with a relationship dynamic. There might be a situation where there is a formal type of relationship structure. Perhaps you're married, or perhaps you're in a committed relationship, and you've noticed or you are aware that there is some perhaps third-party interference, or you might have literally lost somebody very tragically. This looks to me more like, remember, this is not a cups card. This is Swords. It's intellectual. So you might be feeling this as a lot of pain in the world of love, relationship. It could be anybody. It could be a pet, a spouse, a parent, a child, a partner, a loved one, someone you're dating, someone who's dating you, or something where something tragic has happened. Perhaps betrayal, lies, deception, cheating, something in such a way perhaps there's a third party involved, like a home wrecker, whatever they call it, someone that usurps the relationship, intervenes, interrupts, gets in the way, steals, robs, destroys. You may be feeling this internally. Maybe you feel that you have been betrayed in life and love and relationships and business in such a way that maybe it's not an actual person right now, but you're feeling that anyway, as though, my God, if I'm honest with myself, I'm a freaking victim. I have been victimized. I'm sick of it. I am sick of it. It's too painful. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And sometimes it has to come to the surface and to be strong enough where you're willing to, and ready, willing, and able to look into the mirror and admit that to yourself. Might not be pleasant, like, oh, I am a victim. I've been screwed over. I'm sick of it. I'm getting screwed over. I'm sick of it. I don't like it anymore. It hurts. It's painful. What's the problem here? Ten of Wands again in this position. You might have reached a point of critical mass, dear thoughtbot. You might reach the point where, if you're honest, you have been, let's say, grinding away, doing things because you can, and you're capable of, maybe that's what you know. Like again, I said with the earlier reading, you might be literally married to your problems to the point where you don't know anything else, and it becomes a negative feedback loop. It just feeds on itself. Misery feeds on misery, then the misery breeds more misery, and so on and so on. And it looks to me like you're kind of at a breaking point here, where you literally can't take it anymore. You're about to splinter, and the pressure is becoming so much that you could splinter. And something important to you could be broken, damaged, lost, or it might have to be rebuilt. Let's have a look. How are we going to deal with this going forward? Luckily, it's coming out here in the reading. It might be something that you really, really did not want to talk about, really do not want to deal with. But it might be one of those things that you eventually you just got to deal with this stuff. Let's have a look here, going forward. Okay, so I got the Five of Cups here. This is a card of misery, grief, tragedy, and feeling it. Now, if you are in a situation where you literally suffered a loss, the pressure's too much, and it hurts, but you're not ready, willing, or able to deal with the pain of the loss and the suffering, then this reading would indicate that it's very important that you face into the loss and the suffering and allow the grieving process to occur, even if it's just for yourself, about maybe you've mistreated yourself. Maybe you had a very strict code of conduct in life and you betrayed yourself. Or maybe someone has betrayed you, or something is damaged or broken beyond repair. And it's to the level of tragedy. And if you're at a point in life where you're not ready, willing, or able to deal with it, all that's going to do is perpetuate the problem, the pain, and the suffering. So with the Five of Cups here, to me it's an indication that it's better to be really open and honest with yourself and allow the energy of grief and suffering to flow. Allow the heart to break. Allow the heart to break open. You might want to hide somewhere and cry. Go somewhere and hide and wallow in your own misery for a while. Literally throw yourself into it and allow the energy to move through your physical body to the point maybe where you're exhausted. Now, there's something also about this one, that if this is like a permanent loss, like someone died, the message is still the same. You still have to deal with it. You have to allow the grief to flow. And it could also indicate that this is the sort of loss from which there really is no recovery. And you just have to accept it. So that's what I'm sensing here. If something very important to you is lost and broken, you got to deal with it. Okay? I'm just going to share a little bit here, personally. I've lost quite a few people in my life. I didn't lose them. They died. My mom, my dad, a couple of my best friends ever, just suddenly up and died. Horrible, horrible circumstances. I don't know. I've been to about 10 funerals in all. 11, maybe 12. I've lost count. Definitely I've been to more funerals than marriages. And certain events are irreversible. When I lost my mom and dad, it was very, very, very painful for me. I took it very, very badly. And it left me in a very... It was just horrific for me. It was absolutely horrific. And I knew I had to let that energy flow, and so it flowed through me, and then I came out the other side. And now I have a beautiful relationship with my mom and dad, only they're on the other side. That's it. We move on. Because you have to. But it does leave a scar. It does leave a wound. I have a dear, dear friend back in Los Angeles. And she lost her husband through a very nasty, horrible tragedy. And it was totally undeserved, totally unnecessary. And she's doing really well now. And she's healing, but that scar will never go away. She was so broken. And she's a very successful, Emmy Award-winning, like movie, TV type producer person. You'd think somebody that strong and that capable could handle these things, but no, she was completely and utterly crushed. And the only way... I stayed as close as I can. I still stay close to her. In other words, to go. Oh, hello, Thoughtbot, you're back. Well, maybe this is a good time for me to exit the show now. And you can watch this on the action replay, okay, dear Russian Thoughtbot? Yeah, you missed it. Maybe it's better that you missed it. And maybe it's, fortune that you missed it. I'm not going to ask you anything. I think it's much better you just get on with things right now, wrap things out of your shift, get on and move along, and watch the video later, okay? I'm very honored to do this reading for you, and I hope it helps you. Thank you, Necessary. I'm going to wrap out. I'm going to get out of here very, very quickly tonight, folks. It's been a pleasure. I hope you get something out of my rants and my astrodoodles and some of the readings. Thank you very much. Again. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay.